MOH. I'd like to talk to you about muscle memory, or what they call mental maps sometimes. This is an integral part of learning complicated techniques as well as basic fundamental techniques, what we call gross motor. What we're talking about is how we take new technique, new physical movement, and bring it into the body and make it very, very smooth in terms of operation. What we call, well, people actually refer to as reflex, though reflex is not the same thing at all. We're actually talking about what they call learned behavior. So how do we integrate a new movement and create that into learned behavior so that it is borderline on reflex in how it comes out? Your fast backhand as a response to a tennis shot, for example. In our world, it's more violent, of course. We're dealing with concepts of how to hit and this type of thing. It's a different thing. But it comes down to the same thing. It all goes down to motor mechanics and the physiology of the body and the mind and how we work. So this is the basic of how that goes down. This is the science. So we're taking a page basically from my book, The Science of Combatives, and we're going to bring it to you here. So what happens? We're going to make a movement. It's the first thing we're going to do. So let's pretend, for example, we're going to take a basic punch, a straight punch. When we do this, many things happen. It starts off in what we call the cerebral cortex. Cerebral cortex gets the idea. We give the mental description, okay, now we're going to do a punch. So we say to ourselves, basically, our hand lift, punch shoulder, throw out the hand, contact the target, retract the hand, remain in the same position. It's that basic. However, what's going on in the body is much more intricate than that. All through our body, everywhere, we have all the little sensors, nerve sensors, that are telling us what is happening with our body in terms of our position within space. This is how a professional diver does the intricate dives that they do in body manipulations, because their body already understands and knows those sensations and has created maps. And those maps are now being mapped out in physical form as they do the dive. The same thing with a fighter on what we do, and therefore that's so important. Now, we'll take a little pause, put that on the shelf for a second. In martial arts, and combatives as well to a certain degree, there's a discussion. Is it best to do fast movement and learn mechanism that way, or do you take the Tai Chi approach and do like microscopic movement very slow? Well, the scientific answer to that is both. And the reason why is because muscle memory, or like I say, mental maps if you prefer the terminology, is actually a combination of many effects. We have a speed and accuracy trade-off, for example. The faster you go, the less accurate you are. These different things come into it, somatic markers, how you access the file, which is the movement, and how it brings it out, and what way it brings it out, to what degree of accuracy. And how that comes out, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, because we can decide to do something, or it can just respond. So here's basic what happens, is we make a map. That map is stored in our reptilian brain, the cerebellum. This is the part of your brain at the brain stem, the big lump at the back, that actually tells your body what to do and how to do things. It controls the subconscious operation of your body. So that's where we store these mental maps. It goes into there, like a giant filing cabinet. So how's the map made? Well, it's very interesting. So we do. Now we take that back off the shelf, we years back, that punch. As we execute that punch and we bring it back into position, all the time we're moving. All those little receptors all through our body, all through our mechanics of our movement, our hips, our body, is telling it what is going on. So as we're sending signals down to our body to mechanically create a movement, our body is sending signals back up again to map the movement. Now, the faster you go, it's like anything. If I ask you to count something really fast as opposed to really slow, there's a good chance you're going to be an inaccuracy. Well, that's the same thing that occurs physiologically within us as we go through the process of creating maps via all these little sensors. So if you go very, very, very slow and you create that map, you have more chance of those firing accurately and sending correct signal back to the mind, which then starts to lay down that baseline. Now, you can't make a map with one movement, so you have to take what we understand now to be 2,000 to 3,500 repetitions of the movement to make a base map. Fair amount of movement, but it actually goes by quick. But as we do this, we make our movement, and it lays down that first map. We make another movement, it lays down another map, another map, another map. But these are the same maps being refined over and over again. It's not a new map every time, it's the same map refined every time. So if you can imagine half of those signals lighting up, those little receptors, on the first time, and then another variation of that, you know, have it like ABC lights up the first time, but the second time is BCD. You see, and so as it goes through, it creates a better and better map. So after thousands of repetitions, you're amazing at this movement because it is so spontaneous. What's also happened is that that map now residing in our cerebellum becomes behavior, learned behavior. It almost reflexes as reflex. So the concept there is that the map now becomes non-requiring of thought to initiate. Hence, we can respond very quickly to movements or execute moves very quickly under duress, under chaos, under stress, under impairment, such as damages and such like that. So, again, the map, very, very simple how they make it. Execution and slow. But now, slow helps create the map. But because of the other effects, such as I was saying before with the trade-offs between speed and accuracy, that same map, once we start to go faster and faster with it, what happens is we start getting variations in the map which are due to the difference in trajectory as we throw it out. So as we start to do that map under speed, we start to create a better control of that trajectory, a better control of that execution of how to get it along that same trajectory line all the time when going fast. In other words, in layman terms, we're cleaning up the variation, the range of differentiation between one punch and another punch by executing over and over again and getting more and more skilled at it. So the mental map is refined through the movement to create the movement, and then it's refined through high-speed movement to understand the trajectories and the problem that comes with trajectory and pop movements, and of course it creates that within the mental map as well and takes it into effect, and that creates a movement that is very well done, but at the same time can be done with speed. And the same thing with initiating movement, such as pop movement, which we do in what we call impulse striking or reflex striking. So this is how those create together, and that will create what we call a mental map. This can be done on many different things. Complication. The more complicated the mental map, the harder it is to move it. The harder it is to create it into actual movement. So this is where the discussion comes into the thing of fine motor movement versus gross motor movement. Gross motor movement, we have studied under stress of chaos and this type of situation, duress on the brain, and we know that under extreme adrenaline and extreme stress, we get breakdowns in fine motor, where we get much less breakdown in what we call gross motor. So there is a trade-off that comes into that, just basically how the body operates within those two environments, fine versus thing. But again, if you're taking a martial art, and you've been studying this martial art for 30 years intensively, chances are you can throw that movement very well. But it goes into that same concept. Now, if you want to study martial arts for a short period of time, you want to become very good at them, then you're going to do the opposite. You're going to go towards the gross motor and create your environment there, and that will allow you to create these movements much faster. So, simple movements, let all the reflexes go through, long terminology, let all the signals come through, and everything will be referred to into that map. That map then becomes referred to through how we take it out, which is somatic markers, and I'll get into that in another video, and how we end up using that in speed, which is speed and accuracy trade-offs, which we've touched upon a little bit here, but we'll touch again later down the road. Thank you very much for your time. Have great training. Have a good day.